Way back in August of 2020, I set up the Airthings Wave Plus to detect the radon levels in my new house. We had just moved to Colorado in March of 2020, and I had heard about this thing called radon, not knowing if our house would have lots of radon or safe levels. Well, it turns out we had double the safe amount of radon in our home. At least that's what the Wave Plus told me. It also taught me through its variety of sensors that we live in this dry climate with low relative humidity and pretty normal measurements for everything else. In my original review, I was very happy with this product, and I have continued to use it since then to track my radon levels. You can still watch that original video on my channel, and while you are clicking around, click that subscribe button for nerdy videos just like this one. Props to my Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee supporters like Seth G for making this episode possible. So Airthings has a new product available called the View Plus, which to be honest deserves its own video review. So today I'll touch base on why I'm still a fan and why I finally invested in radon mitigation, and the next video will cover the new View Plus and how it's keeping me aware of things like radon, but also other scary stuff like Colorado wildfires. That's a thing. So what is radon? Well, radon is a natural gas that comes from the ground. The problem is it's cancer-causing gas, the second leading cause of lung cancer to be precise, and it's the first cause of lung cancer among non-smokers. This totally invisible gas forms from uranium, which breaks down over time into radioactive decay. Radon is one of those elements that forms from the decay of uranium, and radon emits radiation in the form of alpha particles. The particle, which is 2 protons and 2 neutrons, can damage our DNA cells, and over time it causes health problems. Now, radon usually just gets ventilated out into the air and it dissipates, but in buildings, like in houses, it can sit there and build up whenever you have little airflow. So even if you have like a concrete foundation, radon can still seep into your home through foundation cracks or pipes or a sump tank. Radon also changes levels, whether it's cold or when you open a window allowing for ventilation. So tracking your home's levels over a long period of time can help you figure out if your home actually needs some kind of professional mitigation. So here in Colorado, about half the homes have radon levels which are higher than the US Environmental Protection Agency recommended action level, which is 4 picocuries per liter. So I was tracking mine via the Wave Plus for about 1 year. Levels fluctuated in our living space on the first floor, but they were generally around 6 to 8 picocuries per liter. And yeah, that's a lot. That's more than the recommended levels. So then I got our basement finished for my studio, which is where I'm working right now. And that did lower the radon levels on our first floor living area, but the levels in the basement are 8 picocuries per liter. So that basically means that I'm working in this unsafe environment if I happen to be sensitive to radon, which is not a chance that I'm willing to take, let's be honest. So these here are the recommended levels. You are in the good recommended levels if you're 0 to 2.6 picocuries per liter, fair is 2.7 to 4.0, and poor is anything over that 4.0, so 4.0 picocuries per liter and up. Now you know how I always talk about mitigation in terms of security online. Well, this is how you mitigate a real-world problem, by installing radon mitigation. And in Colorado, if you want to do it professionally, radon mitigation costs around $1,200. You might get a discount if you go with specific companies, but you're looking at over $1,000. I didn't want to screw it up, nor did I have the time or labor to be able to put and invest into this, so I just hired a company. And they did a wonderful job connecting the radon mitigation to my sump pump and making it unobtrusive for my studio. It does require a fan that pumps air out of the sump tank, but I can't hear it thanks to the fact that I set up my sump pump under this drywall, which is built into a little shelf in the corner. So it's totally hidden away. I can't hear the fan whatsoever, and you can't hear it whenever you're listening to these videos. And that was something I thought about ahead of time before I finished this basement. I fully intended to install radon mitigation because I knew at that point that I probably would have to, so I wanted it to be quiet. So pre-mitigation, the professional marked the basement at 8 picocuries per liter, which is the same that I had gotten with the Wave Plus. Post-mitigation, the amount's lowered to 0.1 to 1 picocuries per liter. Isn't that crazy? I haven't seen anything higher than 1 picocurie per liter. So I believe in data. I analyze data to determine actual real-world facts. And at first, I wasn't sure if the Wave Plus was giving me accurate data or not because I had nothing to compare it to. So using the professionally tested level results and comparing those to the consumer product, the Wave Plus, showed me that the data given to me through this sensor right here are indeed accurate. And I have to say, seeing this graph is incredibly interesting because I am all about analytics. I do the same thing looking at my analytics on YouTube. So here's where I had that high radon level. That was back in March of 2022 in my basement. They've been this high pretty much the entire time. This sudden drop where you see it go from red all the way down to green on April 3rd to April 5th, that's when I got the mitigation system installed and the radon levels started lowering and then leveling out in the green section, the good zone, ever since then. So here's the thing. Here's why I wanted to make another video about this. The Wave Plus in no way, shape, or form knows that I got a mitigation system installed. The mitigation system is not smart. It's a dumb little fan that poops out radon from our basement. That's how it works. There is no application. There's no server with data. It's not IoT. It's not smart home. It's just a non-internet connected fan and pump. The Wave Plus is manufactured and managed through a third-party application, and the data is collected and it's shown to me via this chart, and it has no clue that anything actually changed in my house. So there is no handshaking behind the scenes to upsell me on something that I did not actually need. The mitigation system is actually working, and the Wave Plus is showing me a daily track record of proof that my radon levels immediately dropped after getting that system installed. And the cool thing is, if it ever rises to unsafe levels, I will know because of this data. So if the fan ever fails or the system dies, I will know because I have this daily measurement. And I would be able to provide that daily measurement and all of that data and analysis to a professional mitigator, which would be so useful if, for example, I have to get it fixed under warranty. So is this product, which is about $230, worth it? Yes, I would say so. I now have solid evidence from 2 sources that my radon was high and now it's low. Was the $1,200 mitigation system worth it? Well, I think my health is valuable, and given I'm working in my basement where the levels were the highest, they were double what the US Environmental Protection Agency recommends, yeah, I would say so. I think it was worth the investment. And with that said, I am glad you're watching this video because that was a price I knew I would have to eventually pay, but it's still a whopping number, so I appreciate you for watching this. I think it's worth it to at least test your home and test your radon levels to see if you need mitigation. Denver is a literal hotbed. If you look at maps, the entire section is red in terms of radon. So practically every single house in my neighborhood has a system installed. In fact, yeah, I don't think I've seen any houses in my neighborhood that don't have a radon system installed onto the side of their household. So hopefully this video draws attention and awareness to something that I was never educated on before moving to Colorado, and that is radon. Now that you know this thing works, go back and watch my first review, which should be over here, as long as editor snubs remember to put it in right up there. And don't forget to subscribe and check out my upcoming review of the new View Plus. I can't wait to show it to you. It's really cool. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, y'all.